Hello Internet, and welcome back to my Sky Island playthrough of Cataclysm Dark Days Ahead. Now in the last episode we explored a nearby campground, and then we just started to sort of clear out the area in this town we found. Now we did see some hordes here, but they sort of moved off, and currently it's just a lot of us sort of pulling whatever we could to advance in this town. We did get a little bit of vision here, we are seeing some enemies, but we haven't really cleared out the area yet. The one main thing of note that we saw was like a survivalist feral, which we kind of thought would have a gun or maybe good equipment on it. We ended up chasing it into the forest, and it wasn't until after I finished the video that I thought probably it was not a smart thing to chase that. I don't actually know this creature, but I'm willing to bet it probably has more armor than what we were equipped to deal with. So everyone, welcome back. In this episode, hopefully we're going to get to loot some houses for the first time. That would be pretty nice. And I did make a few notes for myself of things I wanted to do. I thought I had forgotten my pistol, but it looks like we do have that in our inventory and favorited. And then the other thing is that I said we would grab a brazier from the campground, which I did not do, so we're going to hop over and grab a brazier. We see a SWAT zombie to the west. Okay, so this is part of the horde that had meandered off previously. We saw a SWAT zombie and a police zombie, so the thing with this is that it has probably SWAT armor on it, which is pretty great armor, and we would really like that. The problem is that they tend to have quite a bit of armor. Our weapon currently splits damage between bash and cut. Bash tends to be the one, so it's a bit complicated, the damage types in Cataclysm. Basically, cut tends to be the one that causes the most bleed. Pierce tends to have the highest armor penetration on critical hits. I think at highest skill levels it has the highest armor penetration compared to the other damage types. And then bash is just sort of the most basic damage type. It tends to be the one where enemies have a lot of armor for bash, but it also tends to be the highest damage values in the game. Like, it's a lot easier to find something with 30 plus bash damage on it instead of cut damage, for instance. But if we look here at our DPS, we can see best damage would be against an unarmored base level creature. I believe for determining this exact statistic, it is based off of fighting a regular zombie, and then versus agile would be something like a child zombie, for instance. That's very agile, hard to hit, things like that. And then the armored damage listed here is I think it's based on a soldier zombie. Now a SWAT armored zombie is probably not as armored as a soldier zombie, but it would be this lowest DPS when we go to fight this. And then the other thing is, because it's a SWAT zombie, it probably has pretty good ballistic protection, so even shooting it we would only be able to do probably like 4 damage a hit. And then the question is, are there other enemies over there as well? Because if we pull the SWAT zombie and 4 other ones come with it, we're going to be in a difficult spot. Do we want to even try to fight this is the question. Oh, and we never searched these vehicles, I just realized, so probably we should do that. Can't see what's on those tiles, unfortunately. We'd have to go over and check them. Oh, it looks like this one is an electric vehicle, so it has a solar or a storage battery on it. We do love our storage batteries, but we're not equipped to really harvest vehicle parts at this time. So do we want to try and fight the SWAT zombie? My brain says no, that would be a dumb idea. I suppose I could pull up the HHG and see what exactly their armor looks like. So let's do that, I suppose. Oh, also I have my mouse cursor on screen. Someone left me a comment telling me I could disable that. Maybe I'll look into that real quick. Oh, and as I'm looking at my recent comments, I see someone here, Croctus, said also to change your world settings can be changed at any time from the normal options menu. We discussed that previously when I said about us turning up our construction rate, so we probably should do that as well. It's under the current world tab. Okay. Options, current world, game world options, so I don't actually see an option here, unfortunately, for our construction speed, which is why that came up in the first place. We said because of Sky Island, you don't get prefab buildings, you have to construct them manually. So it says options, interface, mouse control, options, hide mouse cursor. Okay, so I've enabled the hide mouse cursor option. It looks like once you use the keyboard for something, so if we just check, oh, I just hit shift and it went away. So that's nice, that's a good option, so I can still point with stuff if I want to and then make it disappear as soon as we start moving. That's great, thank you so much for that comment. Who sent me that? Jorust, thank you so much. And then finally here, let's take a look at the SWAT officer or SWAT zombie here. Let's see what they've got going on. 10 bash armor means, so basically when we would hit with our 20 bash weapon, it would reduce that to about 10 damage. It has 16 cut armor, which basically means the cut on our baseball bat's not going to affect it at all, which is really bad. And then for the ballistic armor, it has 18. Our weapon damage currently is about 25. If we got a good hit, like a critical hit, essentially, it would be obviously more damage. But even with the pistol, it looks like we would only be doing like 9 points of damage. Actually less than that because math is hard. So I don't think we do want to fight this SWAT zombie because we're not really equipped to deal with this currently. We could bash it, you know, if we're doing 10 damage a hit and we get, let's say, 1 critical, we would probably do about 25, 30 damage. That would take us like 10 hits if we don't get any criticals to kill this thing. Looks like they have a melee of 6, so it's going to be doing damage to us, but we could of course lure it onto terrain. Its dodge is 0, so it's probably pretty easy to hit. Doesn't look like it has any flags that make it harder to hit or anything like that. And of course, here it says it's not a 100% chance to drop the SWAT armor. Does the SWAT armor even exist at this point? It might have been removed from the game. Yeah, I don't see SWAT armor here, so it looks like it's just a SWAT ballistic vest now instead of the full like riot gear style SWAT armor that existed previously. So I don't even think that SWAT zombie is worth it. Yes, we could get a ballistic vest, but there are going to be plenty of other opportunities to get exactly that, so I'm not super concerned about it. So anyway, that was a long enough deviation. Let's get back to the game. Everything I do in this game is so slow. Okay, so we're going to turn off safe mode. It has a vision radius of 30. It's currently 60 tiles away. We can pop up here and grab this brazier. And if we just chill for a minute, it should, you know, wander off and we shouldn't worry about it popping over here unless it sees the grasshoppers and comes to attack. So it looks like it's gone. We did see a zombie dog briefly. So yeah, it looks like that horde has descended into this area. These vehicles are a little too close to where we're seeing them, so we're just going to fall back. And we're going to drop this brazier in our vehicle. So we did get the brazier, which I said I would get in the last episode and then failed miserably to follow through on that. So it looks like at this point we're just gonna start looting, I guess. We have everything we need. We have our bat, we have our firearm just in case for an emergency. Yeah, man, we have really bad gear as well. We have no armor at all, huh? We just have clothes. Like that's, you know, obviously that's not good armor. You know, and the other thing I was thinking about is we saw that militia feral or prepper feral or whatever it was. And we do have this boarded up building here to our east. And we saw 2 or 3 ferals down here spawning directly below that building. I started to think maybe this location is full of ferals and that is why. Like maybe there's a broken out window that we just don't see here. And maybe they're coming out of this building and that's why we saw so many ferals was one of my thoughts there. So what do we got? We got a couple brainless zombies, not a concern. Did we ever loot the pool? Probably nothing in here but a few pieces of clothing, which is like obviously not a big deal, but we'll have a look here. What are these? Bathrooms, probably nothing in there. Jeans, I mean, again, we looked. Jeans, negligible protection compared to whatever work pants we're wearing. I always like to take the long underwear garments. Leather pants used to be pretty meta because they had, you know, back when clothes were much thicker, there was a huge PR that reduced the thickness of most clothing and the protection values of like cotton for the most part. So clothes used to be pretty effective as armor, and leather pants in particular, because they were made of leather, were quite good. Now these are like decent protection, probably more than what we're wearing in our work pants, but they also are like leather pants and we don't really want to wear leather pants, I think. So let's have a look at our pants here, I guess. Oh, we are wearing jeans. I thought we put on work jeans, but I think that was the t-shirt. So yeah, the leather pants are slightly better, but it's not like a significant amount to where you would be like, oh yeah, I have to have those. It would reduce probably on average like an extra half a point of damage. And since we're using so much terrain to our advantage, not that we don't need armor, but like I'm not super pressed for armor at the moment. I dated a girl one time when I was I was probably in my last year of middle school or my first year of high school. There was a girl at my school who took an interest in me. I was a very dark young man who wore black clothing and, you know, was the whole angsty teen thing. And she took an interest because she was similarly dark and kind of you know, in hindsight, I could say she was a really troubled young lady who had a lot of stuff going on at home. Well, she and I started talking on the phone, and you know, as you do when you're young, you get somebody's phone number, you start talking on the phone every day, because remember, I'm old, so like not everyone had the internet or computers and stuff at the time, so the phone was like the most reliable way to speak to someone. I did see a red dot in this forest that has now disappeared. I don't know what that is. Oh, there it is. Let's have a look here, make sure it's not something super dangerous. Now I don't see it. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's that rat again. I thought it was a red dot, though. It's tracking. It probably is hostile if we get too close, but I'm not concerned about it. Anyway, her brother hated me. She had a younger brother, and he just hated me. He hated the idea of anyone, like, calling his house. Like, again, they had some home issues going on. But, oh, I forgot to drop my backpack. Okay. But this girl, you know, took an interest in me. We started talking on the phone after school. You know, I'd play my games on the computer while we were on the phone, just having a chat. Well, we decided we were going to go on a date, and it was one of my first ever dates. And I think we went, what is that, Pierce Brosnan? It was one of the James Bond movies. We went to see, I want to say, I think it's called Die Another Day. I think it has Halle Berry in it. It's like the one with a guy gets like diamonds embedded in his face partway through the movie, and like there's a giant like ice hotel or something in the film. Anyway, we went to see this movie. Well, she showed up for our date, and remember, we're like 14 at this time, so like of course my parents are like, our family would be the ones taking us somewhere, so like I think my grandmother drove me to the movies with her. But anyway, she shows up to my date in very tight leather pants, which is a red flag, I think. If you see like a 14-year-old wearing tight leather pants, I think that's like a red flag that maybe something's, you know, it's interesting. It's definitely not typical. Oh, I didn't drop my backpack again. I really have to work on remembering ye olde backpack. Oh, geez, really nothing on these people. You have a caffeinated gum. I never use the caffeinated items. I don't need a million MP3 players. We need to delete these from the game, honestly. They're way too common. No one carries a regular MP3 player anymore. Man, I just hate dropping my backpack when I'm planning to loot. And like, I'm afraid I'll end up running away and forgetting my backpack again. Although all we have currently is clothing. It's not a big deal. Actually, did that drop our warp shards? No, but it dropped our pistol. We have nothing to put our pistol in if we drop our backpack. That's bad. I want to have the pistol on me at all times for an emergency. Is there really nothing? I bet if we drop the clothing, we can't pick up the gun. Does not fit in any pocket. So it's just too long, I assume. It's 9 inches long. Wait, 9 inches for a handgun? PX Storm was built by utilizing lightweight polymer. I mean, I guess maybe. I don't know. I never paid attention in shop class. I probably just don't know how long 9 inches is. Now I feel dumb. Anyway, let's keep luring enemies here. See another little horde over here. Looks like all standard zombies, but they're close together, so it might be hard to lead them off. So we can see more of the town now, which is nice. We see a horde here and a horde here. Looks like it's almost exclusively houses. Oh yeah, someone asked me as well, why don't I use the tile sets on the map? Basically, I was really used to the old map, which is what we're seeing here, this old ASCII style map where everything is color-coded and represented by different symbols. Then we got the functionality to have a map, basically tile set, separate for the map. And I never use it, which people have told me like, hey, you've been away from the game for a long time, why not use this opportunity to learn the new tile sets for the map? And here's the thing, I like the ASCII tiles. I know it's old-fashioned, I know some people hate it, but what we're gonna do, we're gonna go use tile set on the map, but instead of a tile, like with sprites, we're going to use just like the ASCII map, because there's an ASCII overmap. So if we save this, what that does, oh god, I hate it. Oh, I hate it so much. It's so square. Everything's so square now. Okay, well, that's fine. So we're going to learn to use this new map. So the benefit of this is that it basically has the same layout as the original ASCII map, with the color coding and everything matching up to what it was previously. Like, this is a butcher shop. I recognize that from years of playing and knowing that color coding, and that's like the only thing that's color coded that way, right? But the benefit of having the tile set is that we can now zoom on the map, which is like a super amazing feature that we really want to have access to. So for those of you who use the tile set, look, you're not going to like this. I know it's still ASCII, but for, people like me, we got very used to using the ASCII in order to play the game. So it is what it is, and that's what we're going with. Okay, so we pulled 2 by mistake. It looks like a big zombie and a regular zombie. So they should naturally split up a little bit due to their... Oh, and that one's going to go attack that Kraken, so we don't even have to worry about the big zombie. Probably it'll chase it off into the forest, and then we'll forget all about it. So anyway, yeah, she showed up for our date in leather pants, and I remember my family very distinctly being like, maybe that's not the girl for you. Like, maybe something's not right about this girl. She seems like she has some problems where she's a little bit... not a good match for you. And I think that as like a 14-year-old, I didn't really understand the concerns that they had, but in hindsight, I'm like, if I took my kid on a date and his lady friend showed up with like, well, and that too, it wasn't just the pants, let's be honest. She was like a little ragged, she smelled like weed, there were some, red flags in that situation. And if that were my kid, I would also have some concerns. So here we have Eat Your Way to a Fit Physique. It's a red book, which historically I thought meant it had skills to it, but looking at it, it says 14 in parentheses, which is what most like read for fun books have. This is a self-help book by acclaimed nutrition and health guru Amar de Freitas. It's as dubious as its title. Yeah, of course. Worse, it is boring. It does, however, contain basic cooking instructions, so probably a cooking 1 book. I guess we do want that. And we definitely want the first aid kit, but unfortunately we can't pick it up without our backpack. So we're going to go back and get our backpack. I thought I saw a lot of red in the forest here. Is this just these rats, man? They're starting to get on my nerves. Because every time I see the red pop up on the mini-map, I get real scared. We're going to go back. We're going to grab our backpack because we want... actually, probably going to pull something as we... Yeah, so... We'll deal with you. Oh, you're kind of debating, do you want to fight me or the mold? I understand. It's a cow-sized mold. It's a big target. Come down here and deal with this one. Yeah, in hindsight, not good. And then our relationship never went anywhere. I think we kissed a few times. She wasn't my first kiss, but like, it's when you're that young, it's like any kind of... I don't know, I think it's different when you're an adult. You're a lot more selective about the people that you spend your time with. When you're a kid, you're just like, oh, this pretty blonde girl likes me. Oh my God, I can't believe it. And then, as an adult, things are a little bit more, you're like, okay, she seems like maybe we're not a good match. But I was a dark kid too, It's like, I don't know, that too. You go through life and everybody's like, looks at you different because you're dark and you're kind of weird, and then they see the 2 dark kids hanging out and they're like, oh, they're a couple now and you guys should go on a date and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know. So we'll take this book. We will grab the first aid box as well. We're going to take all of this stuff with us. We probably should be keeping... I mean, the medical gauze is really bad at treating... Oh, no, it has a good bandage quality. Effect on bleeding small. So that's like a low tier, basically wouldn't be able to stop high tier bleeds. The effects on bleeding are pretty good. We could keep this on us just to treat bleeding wounds. Same, and the adhesive bandages are terrible. Like, they're terrible at everything. They're really only good for the most minor of injuries. But we could keep the medical gauze on us, and we could also keep those alcohol wipes we got previously on us, because then we could treat things as we went. For now, we're going to take the whole box. We're going to grab... I really don't need all these MP3 players. And we have a memory card unread. Probably we should be grabbing those. It seems like maybe they have some content that we would want. Someone did also tell me, by the way, when I was talking about the books and the merchant and things like that, they said, hey, you can scan those books and then just sell them to the merchant, and then you don't have to worry about taking all these books with you. And that's true, but if I recall correctly, scanning a book takes quite a lot of time. You're scanning every single page, right? It takes time to scan books into a device like that. And since we're on a timetable because of the warp pulses, we only have like 2 hours left on our trip down here, if even that. I don't know that we're going to be able to scan, you know, like 30 books into our e-reader. Yeah, so great time to mention as well, I tried to record this while my family was away. It sounds like they're home now, and one of them has a like just completely brutal cough lately. They've been checked out. They went to urgent care yesterday. He's fine, but he has a really terrible cough, and I don't know that I would be able to edit all of it out of the video, so we're probably going to wrap here shortly. It's going to be a short episode, I guess. It's a lot easier than pausing every like 8 seconds to try to edit out the coughing and stuff. So apologies for that, but you know, sickness in the household, it is what it is. We're going to drop our backpack again. We might as well drop the clothing again because I don't know where exactly that's putting the encumbrance. I don't think on our torso, but you never really know. Okay, I feel bad now. He's coughing a lot, and I don't know how to edit this out of the video. It's going to end up in the video. So again, I was concerned that these would be broken out and there would be ferals here. It really doesn't look like it, which I think is a bit surprising. I really thought that was what was going on, but apparently not. Trying to pull this horde one at a time. Looks like we got a zombie coming down here. So let's just back off and deal with you as well. Okay, and we keep using the same tiles. I guess it doesn't really matter. It's so much blood you can't actually see where the tiles are anymore, which is makes things a little bit harder, but should be okay. Man, they really don't want to step on this stuff today. I'm having a hard time with this. High volume rucksack is pretty great. We probably should empty that and take that bag with us as well. I don't think it's actually good for using like as a regular backpack because there's so much of a problem with like the encumbrance. It can hold so much stuff. The encumbrance really stacks up, but you really do always kind of want extra bags. We'll take the pocket knife as well. So I want to unload. I went back and got my backpack. Let's unload the high vol. Oh, it's really damaged. Yeah, I'm not going to take it when it's like half damage. We're not going to be able to repair that probably for a long time. All right, and a little bit of a weird thing here, internet. I actually took a break from recording because my family member, I don't remember how much I recorded in the video, but he's very sick at the moment. And I just took a break until kind of his coughing fit ended, or I think maybe they left again. So we're going to resume here, but I might not remember everything exactly as we were doing it. Looks like we do have our backpack, we have our weapon and everything. Looks like we just picked up that first aid kit, I remember that. It's always something. It's part of the reason I don't stream. People ask me all the time, like, why don't you stream? We would like to talk to you live as you play a game. But, well, for one, I'm not very good live, which is, you know, probably evident in this Let's Play so far. Live commentary definitely is not my, forte. It's something that once you get out of practice with it, it's very bad, but mostly it's due to circumstances beyond my control, like the dog that's currently barking up the street. I don't know if that's going to be picked up in the recording or not. What are you? Oh, hello. What is this? Feral cop? Oh, and it looks like it came out. Okay, so they are full of ferals. I thought that building would be full of ferals. I got that vibe, but then we didn't see any, so I thought, well, maybe you're just imagining things. Feral cop is probably pretty bad because we don't, it's going to have similar armor and whatnot to the, what was the thing we looked at earlier? Not a soldier, a SWAT zombie. So probably the same kind of armor. We might have to shoot this guy, which obviously makes a lot of noise. That could be a problem. Another of the crazed humans among the dead, this police officer angrily mutters to themselves, wandering around with a truncheon in hand in search of someone to brutalize. So I'm guessing it has a, like, riot baton. You know what, we're going to go to the HHG again and look at this. And a lot of people would say, like, hey, why are you, looking in the game files? It's a little cheating, but, like, honestly, in this game, I just want to be equipped. So that's the fungus version. We don't want that. Okay, 1d6 bash, not a big deal. Blow whistle. I'm assuming, probably that's like a shrieker zombie probably draws enemies nearby. That's a huge problem. 45 vision radius. Yeah, it already saw us. We're not worried about that. Looks like the bash damage is a bit lower than the SWAT zombie, but we deal Oh, but it has a dodge of 3. I think that since we have no melee skills or proficiencies, meleeing this is probably a death sentence. 8 bash armor means we're dealing on average probably, if we hit well, like 12 damage per hit. With 84 HP, that's like what, 8-9 hits. So that's obviously not great. And then it has a dodge of 3, so we're going to miss a lot of our hits anyway. So, you know, it sounds like, oh, 8 or 9 hits. Really, that's probably more like 18 or 20 because it's going to dodge a lot of our attacks, which is like, it also has a ballistic armor of 14, which means the damage of our pistol is not going to do very much. But honestly, I think the pistol is the way to go because getting into melee for like 20 attacks when it deals 1d6 bash damage, actually, this is incorrect. So the damage listed here is 1d6 bash. That's actually for its melee attack. What we would be dealing damage is the feral weapon PR24, which I don't know what that means, but we can have a look at the JSON down here and see it might be defined here in the JSON. So there is the feral weapon. I don't see it defined here, so I would have to look that up in the files. We can do that since I'm here. I mean, we might as well have a look at it. So the way I'm going to do this, I'm just going to open up the GitHub. I'm going to go to search and I'm going to paste in the ID of that attack that we just looked at, see what comes up here. So here it's defined in the feral JSON. That would be the entry we were just looking at. Here we have the feral weapon attack. So it looks like it's a 1 cooldown. Actually, let's open this up and then we'll just search for that text again. Feral weapon PR24 looks like 9 accuracy. It's the feral's melee skill plus the weapons to hit, so it's 6 plus 3 equals 9. So it looks like that's very likely to hit us. And it deals a bash damage of 14. And remember, we have no armor, so it would be hitting us for like 13 damage every time it hits, which probably doesn't sound like a lot, but every time, like the majority of the time, it's going to hit us in the torso. So that's really only like 9 or 10 attacks to kill us, if even that, depending on, like, I don't know if they have critical hits or not. I don't think they do, but I don't know for sure. Looks like it also has the ability, oh, I don't know how to read this, condition and, no, I don't want this, go away. So it looks like maybe it can disarm us. I'm not sure if that's what that means. I think we don't want to engage this in melee. It's going to take a lot of rounds to put this down, but I think our gun is the best bet. So I'm in hindsight, I'm glad that we bought that 9mm pistol. So I guess that's what we're doing. That's really sucks. Honestly, that's not good. So that is unfortunate. If we had higher skills, like, because currently our melee is 1, our bashing weapons is 1, and our weapon splits damage. So most of our, like, all of this cut damage would just be absorbed by its armor. So really we're just looking at the bash damage here, and versus armored, our DPS is not good. So again, just a not a good situation. So I think we want to use the pistol here. I don't know, we could just lure it into the forest to not deal with it, because once we start popping off rounds, a lot of these enemies are they're gonna hear that. Yeah, I think currently the feral cop loudly blows their whistle here in the menu here. So I think it's already gonna be drawing enemies towards us. Let's retreat. Yep, so they are coming towards the sound of the whistle. That's not good. We're gonna wear our backpack. I'm going to leave this stuff on the ground. It doesn't really matter, and picking it up would cost us several turns. The other issue is that we have no firearm skills at all, so this is not good. Let's not sprint. Oh, but there's that horde in the western forest as well. So even if we fall to the west to retreat and then shoot it, they're likely to come out of the forest because they'll hear the gunshots. So I think the safest bet here is to retreat to our vehicle and then start shooting, and then if we have to continue retreating from there, we can just hop in the vehicle and drive away. That sucks, man. We wanted to loot these houses. I mean, we would just circle back and, you know, hopefully some of them would get lost in the forest and we could just come back or hit them with our car or whatever. But for now, let's fall back to, okay, Survivor Zombie. Also bad. They also have quite a bit of armor, I think. Survivor Zombie, 3d3 bash. They have a bite attack, a grab attack. Lower armors, but they still have a dodge of 3, and we have no skills, so they're probably going to dodge a lot of our attacks. Okay, so this bothers me, because again, this house is boarded up, and it looks like there were many enemies inside. 2 survivor zombies. Oh no, that's a crazed survivalist. This is the guy we saw earlier. So I hate stuff like this. Obviously, the joke is that they boarded up their house and then they all died in there somehow or turned feral or whatever. I don't like those kind of themed locations where now suddenly we're kind of locked out of an area because I don't think we have really the ability with a 9mm pistol and kind of like a split damage weapon. I don't know that we're equipped to deal with 3 of them, and I'm assuming that there are more in the house because whenever people make these kind of locations, they're like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if it was like 10 people? It's like, no, why wouldn't it just be like one guy, you know, holed up for the apocalypse and ended up dying inside, you know? Like, makes a lot more sense than, oh, we have a whole family of survivalists. I mean, not that those people don't exist, but like, I don't know. And we seem to have lost a feral cop somewhere. Yeah, so I guess we'll just fall back to the vehicle and start popping off rounds and then drive away if necessary. We could, of course, just run them over with the car. I really do think if you were playing casually, you would just hit them with your car. It makes so much more sense to do that, but we don't, we kind of would like to be able to drive this all the way up here to extraction. And I think vehicle damage is a lot worse now than it was last time I played. You're more likely to break parts and stuff. Why don't we try the pistol? Can we stow the bat? We can, so we'll put that in our inventory. Again, not a great 9mm is just not going to do much, but oh, here's the cop. Okay, so it looks like we lost some of the survivors, and we're going to need to get awful close because we have no skills. Gonna have to wait for you to get very close to start popping off rounds, but not too close because again, that damage could be bad. So what damage did I do? If I release from this menu, do I lose all of my aim progress? For 15 damage, what did it have, like 90 some HP? It is bleeding because we shot it. We could fall back. What's your speed like? It's a bit slower than me. I'm hesitant to flee too far from the car because then if the rest of them come, we would end up kind of caught in the open. There's another regular feral. Yeah, so it looks like that house is just full of ferals. Remember, we saw 3 to the south of it previously. We saw that one survivor that headed north that we chased a ways. So this house was full of like 9 different feral creatures. Just why? Why did you make it that way? You know, just put like 1 to 3 people. Makes so much more sense. Why would you do this? Just doesn't make sense to me. So we can let it get a little bit closer. We'll just, yeah, I was gonna say we'll just take the shot. Looks like we missed. You know what? Let's sprint and let's get in the car. There's too many ferals in this area. I'm not gonna be able to drive. You're too close. Let's go to walking. The vehicle parts do slow them down. It's because we have a 400 move cost. That's why we slowed down so much. If you're slower than me and all of these are 400, why are you still catching up to me when I just stepped into the ocean? Or into the open. That feral from the north is approaching. We can melee the feral if we have to. It's the cop I'm concerned about. Take another shot. Looks like we missed again. And we hit for 14 damage. I'm going to sprint. We're going to run south and wrap around the vehicle. No, you're still so fast. Let's get in the car. He's gonna hop in next to us. Yeah, that's gonna happen. Hit you in the head with the baton. So this is not going super well here. Should have just gotten the vehicle and run them over. I don't know why I even tried. I wanted to see how much damage the pistol would do. This is not a good situation because he's going to get free shots on us as we try to drive away. We're not going to melee him with a pistol. It's not going to hit through his armor. Oh, geez. Well, are you bleeding out at least? How are you doing? You are closer to dead. We can fire while driving. The aim is not as good as I would like. And remember, we're going to keep moving as we take time to aim here. Okay. Almost dead. Yes, he's going to hit us again. That's fine. We should not have done this way. I don't know why I was doing this. We missed again. Looks like you're staggered off balance. Attacked by the feral cop. Nearly dead. I wish you would just bleed out already, man. Take another shot here. Okay. Heard beep. Oh, our vehicle backing up, maybe? Okay, so we did take some hits there. Obviously, we should not have done this way. I should have just used my vehicle as a battering ram. I try to avoid that. I prefer to do engagements in melee or on foot or whatever, just because it's sort of a thing we talk about all the time in the Discord. People are like, how do I beat whatever enemy? And people are like, oh, just hit it with a car, which, you know, I think takes some of the fun out of the game. So we did kill this guy. Let's see, he has a tac vest. He has a 5.7 magazine. It looks like he has no gun, however. Sort of makes sense, you know, we try to keep the ferals away from firearms, or we should, because they're kind of ruins the experience in my opinion. Has both a wooden tonfa and an expandable baton, so I'm not really sure what he was hitting us with. And other than that, yeah, some clean gear because it's a feral, so we do want to pick that stuff up. We did run over some of it as well as we were backing up, which is not great. And honestly, we can just melee the other feral, I think. We really need to kind of back away here though and reposition so I can feel a little bit more comfortable, just because again, that was a pretty not good way to handle that. So let's back up to here. Hopefully that distracts the other ferals a bit so they're not gonna follow us all the way over here, because they'll be distracted by the forest and things like that. Get this stamina back. I'm gonna swap back to our melee weapon. That was a terrible choice. I should have just run them over. Everyone else would have just run them over. So this one we're just gonna melee. Not the best choice in the world when we have pain, which is slowing our character down, but we should be able to melee just a basic pipe wielding feral. See if it ever shows up here. And we're doing this again, we just don't want them to be bombarding us with rocks as they approach, so we're just gonna hang out. Peeking took time. I don't remember that taking time, but that's fine. Yes, thank you for throwing a rock. Just get into melee, please. Nothing interesting here. Calcium tablets, I guess we'll take those. Oh, I am wearing my backpack. That's also not a good choice. Let's see what all came out of the trees to investigate those gunshots. Looks like not really anything. So let's hop up here, grab that vest. This is finally some torso protection, and the Kevlar vest is very low encumbrance, so that's like a great torso item to have. Looks like the protection, actually we'll do this in the wear menu. It's a little bit easier to see the average stuff here. So we're looking for the Kevlar. So it looks like 4 bash protection, 5 cut, 4 pierce, and a lot of ballistic protection. Obviously much better than what we're wearing currently, which is essentially just a t-shirt. So we'll take off our work shirt because I think they occupy the same level as the Kevlar vest. Apparently that has a pocket because it said that there was stuff in my work shirt. That's a bit strange. We'll grab the holster as well. That will let us, you know, keep our pistol on us even when we drop our backpack. Obviously it's pretty handy. We really don't need boots, we don't need medical gloves, don't need underwear. People do love the belts in this game. I never wear belts. Maybe we should take them. Has a lot of police miscellaneous stuff. We'll pick it up for now just to make ease of transport a little bit, to ease that transport a little bit. Tac vest I think is just a rig. I don't think it's like anything armor wise. Let's have a look here. Synthetic fabric, actually not terrible. Protection probably doesn't cover very much would be my guess. 51% of the torso. 3 encumbrance when full, 8. So this we could keep our magazine in this, but currently we only have 1 magazine. Not super relevant, but we will pick up the tac vest because why wouldn't we? And I'll take a whistle for no reason really, just because I can. We'll take those. Pulp that corpse. I don't know what we're gonna do about the other ferals. I really hate that that building had so many ferals in it. Like, for the lulz, I guess? I don't know. Anyway, terrible engagement aside, we did get some decent value things, mainly that Kevlar vest. Did I put it on, by the way? We did. So now we have torso protection, at least. And we have that hard hat, which is decent head protection. Those are really the ones we're concerned about. Anyway, horrible engagement aside, everyone, thank you for watching. We're going to call the episode here. Definitely ran a little long since I had to do a 2-parter here. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'll be back with more content in the near future, and I'll see you next time.